Hey everyone, it is Tracy with Bright Sand Travel. I'm coming to you live aboard the Viking Rinda on the Danube River. We are just coming out of a lock. You can probably see behind me. We're sailing out of the lock. We're super cool. I'll spin around here. You can see still in the lock here. So I just wanted to come live to you on the top deck so that you could see this experience coming out of the lock. And we're going into a small town. So we're cruising from Vienna, or we're cruising from Linz this afternoon to Vienna, where we'll end our 3-night little mini cruise here. So I really wanted to highlight this ship and the Viking experience for you before I move on to my expo, where I'm going to experience 10 of the major river cruise companies that mainly sell in the US market, and there's going to be 15 ships there. So it's going to be really a cool experience to tour all those ships. I saw a lot of them last year, but there's some few new ones there, and then also eat and drink and everything on the ships too, to really experience them. And then there's a lot of education sessions as well, with industry executives talking about the river cruise market and their brands in particular. So right now, like I said, I am on the top deck of the Viking Rinda. As you can see, I'm going to flip you around here now, and then you can check out everything. Let's see. Here we go. All right. So we are coming out of the lock, and you can see the town here on the right as we come out. It's a little bit of a little castle over there. It is an overcast day today. Unfortunately, I wish it was bright and sunny so you guys could see how pretty it is up here on the river, on the sun deck. But it's really nice that we've got the, oops, didn't mean to do that. There we go again. So let's just kind of cruise this way, and then I'll come back around and you can see a little more of the town as we go by it, but just to show you a little bit more of the sun deck. So we are on the top level. River cruise ships are all the same size. Well, the majority of them are the same size that sail in Europe, which is a little over 437 feet. And then you've got about 37 feet wide. Sorry, 443 feet long, 37 feet wide. And that's because they have to fit through the locks and under the bridges. So they're all basically the same size, except on the Danube, there are 2 ships that are, we call them double wides. They are double the size. They can only sail on the Danube because the Danube does have bigger locks, and only on a certain section of the Danube. So up here on the deck, you can see they've got a little walking track. There's lots of lounge chairs and tables. They're kind of folded over here right now. Like I said, it's kind of a, overcast day. There weren't that many people up here. And also right now, there's not very many people on our ship because a lot of people for an excursion today went to Salzburg, and it's a full day excursion, and we are actually picking them up at a different spot on the river. So they got off the ship this morning in Linz, and then they're getting back on later, tonight, not even till 6:30 today. We're going to pick them up on the river on our way to Vienna. So you can see also here on the deck, we've got a little putt-putt. There's an herb garden here, which is really nice. And then also a shuffleboard. So just some activities here on the upper deck that you can do when it's nice out and when you're sailing. Yeah, take you back around here. You can see a little bit more of the walking track, and then the town on the right, which is really pretty. So like I said, 10 major river cruise lines that really sell in the US market. Viking is, of course, the largest one with the most ships on the river. And again, I was saying, they're all basically the same size except for the 2 that are a double wide. So it's basically, what do you do with that space? And each of the brands have a little bit different configuration. Some of them put more people on the ship than others. Viking has, their ships, their long ships are all the same size basically. So they are, like I said, all the same size and the same configuration. They basically look almost identical. There's a little bit of difference in the artwork, decor, but otherwise they have the same look. They put 190 people on their ships, where some of the other lines do put a lot less. So some of the lines put like around 130, others 150, 160, and then Viking does put the most people on their ships at 190. So that does mean that the rooms are a little bit smaller on Viking to fit all the people in. And also, you know, the dining room does feel a little more crowded. They have bigger tables though, so it's really nice for sitting when you're with groups in the dining room. They do have, like I said, the bigger tables for dining here on Viking, because you got to fit 190 people in. So, like I said, top deck here, all the river cruise companies basically have your top deck, your sun deck. There is not an elevator to get up here. It's only accessed by the stairs, because obviously you can't have an elevator coming up because sometimes they have to put all this down, and even the bridge where the captain is lowers some, and then all this kind of collapse. The shading will collapse when we go under low bridges, and sometimes you cannot come up on deck when you're going under a low bridge. So I want to go down now to the next level. So basically this is the top level. It would be considered like the 4th level, and then there are 3 levels of the ship in the inside, where there are rooms located on each of the 3 levels too. And then I'll show you all the other common spaces. So if you saw earlier, I did do a video and I posted, it's not a live, but I did post a video of my stateroom, which is really nice. I'm in a veranda stateroom. I really like it. It has a full balcony to walk out on. So there's veranda staterooms, and then there are French balcony staterooms. And then there are regular staterooms that are on the lower level. We call them the swan view, with just some smaller windows that you can see out of, so not like a balcony. So here we are on the 3rd level. This level, like I said, houses some rooms down here. You also have this little library area that's really nice. Some computer stations here. And then just more seating, little spaces just to kind of hang out, relax. So Viking has a very modern, minimalist look, Scandinavian of course. Like I was saying, the decor is very similar. The layout on every ship is the same, and the decor is similar, just some different artwork. Here we have like a nice little station where you can always get some bakery treats, coffee, tea here, which is really nice. Now we're walking into the lounge. The lounge area is where the bar is. It's also where the nightly entertainment is. On river cruise ships, you always have some evening entertainment. You have a nightly happy hour. Here, let's see. Here's the bar area, so you can kind of see that. Hi. And this is where the onboard duo sings from in the evening. So they've got the piano, guitar, and vocals, and so that's nice. That's every evening. They also bring in local entertainment in the evening. Last night we had some German musicians, which was really nice. It's kind of like a German fest theme yesterday, with both the food and then the entertainment. Today we are having some Viennese waltz dancers, and they're going to show us the waltz and teach us a few steps. So that's after dinner entertainment. Before dinner entertainment, it's just the musicians here, the duo, the house duo playing, and everybody gathers in the evening before dinner. This is where the the cruise director, program director comes in and does the port talk. So talks about the next day, what the excursion options are the next day, any pertinent information you need to know gets discussed then. And then also the chef, the head chef comes in and talks about the food for the evening, which is super nice. It gets you really excited about what you're going to have for dinner. A lot of times, you know, they are regional specialties, so he tells about his selections and what he recommends. So that all happens in this nice lounge area. And then I'm going to show you one of the dining options too is this alfresco dining. It's called the Aquavit Terrace. So there is breakfast set up out here, just like a smaller buffet breakfast option out here in the morning. You can also have lunch out on the terrace. They have the doors that open up, so it's kind of indoor outdoor. You can order lunch from the menu out here on the terrace. It was beautiful. We sat out here today right before we left Lynn's. We sat outside, had a beautiful lunch, glass of wine, just so nice. On Viking, alcoholic beverages, just beer and wine are included for lunch and dinner. Otherwise, drinks, you can either buy a drink package or you can just pay by the drink, but the drinks are, you know, fairly reasonably priced. So, and it's nice that you do have, you know, all your wine you want to drink or beer at lunch and dinner. So this is just a really nice area. As you can see, people are just hanging out. You can, you know, relax in here as you're sailing. You can also, you know, play games, whatever you want to do in here. So this is just more of a quiet area during the day when there's not lunch or dinner being served. You can also have dinner out here on the terrace as well. And that's the same menu that you get in the main dining room, which we're going to go check out in just a few minutes. So today I did a Linzer Tort baking class. That was my option that I picked for my excursion. Now, most people did do Salzburg today. I had already done Salzburg when I was here 2021, so I didn't want to do the same thing again, so I picked a different excursion. So on Viking, basically you have an excursion that's included every day. It is usually a walking tour or a bus like tour of the city. That is included, but they also offer options for other tours that you can pay extra for if you want to do a different experience. Some people just want to go do the, you know, walking tour of the city and then just explore the city where they're in for that day. Because, you know, as you know, the boat does dock pretty much in most places in a city center. So you can walk right off the ship and do your own thing, or you can do the tour like with the guide in the morning and then have the afternoon free on your own. So, but we did the Linzer Tort making today, and it was a lot of fun. We went to this oldest bakery in Linz, and they taught us how to make the tort. Let's see if I can get the door to open here. There we go. And then they baked them for us, and they're going to deliver them. Well, they delivered them to the ship, and they're going to deliver them to our rooms so that we can have them later to eat. So that was a really nice excursion. The other option today, of course, was the walking tour that some people did, and then the Salzburg. So right now there's not very many people on board because they did the Salzburg excursion, and so they are off the ship right now. Okay, so just heading back out here. I'm going to take you down another level. So above here we had the terrace, sun terrace, and then we have this third level. Now we're going to go down to the second level, which is really considered the main level and the lobby area of the ship. So this is where you come in and out of. This is where you scan your card to let them know you're on or off the ship. As you can see, this is the lobby. Little store area here. The activities desk area. Isn't it pretty, the design? I think it's just gorgeous. I love this really minimalist look, the light colors, it's bright. It just has a really great feel. So down that hallway, again, this is like the second level. That is where my room's located. So their room's located down that way. Now, if we head down this way, though, we are going to head into the dining room, the main dining room. So I wanted to show you the menu here. Like I said, every night they have regional specialties. Don't know if you're really going to be able to see this or not, but they'll have the regional specialties. They'll also have the always available items. So like always available, you've got like a Caesar salad, you've got a ribeye steak, salmon, their roast chicken, and then desserts like creme brulee, cheese platter, ice cream. And then the regional specials, I don't know if you can see this or not, for today, like I said, those change every day. So depending on, like we had the German menu, it looks like we've got some potato soup today. And then, the options for main course are halibut or a filet. Those are the regional specials, or those are the specials for tonight. And then, like I said, the wine house wines are included, but they do have some sommelier recommendations for some higher end wines if you want that. So I'm gonna go ahead though and take you into the main dining room. So as you can see, it is still really light, bright. I love the windows. You know, as you're sailing, you can look out the windows. With Viking, they do have quite a few larger tables, like we were talking about before. We've got, this ship is 190% capacity, so the dining room, does have to seat a lot more, but you also have the upstairs Aquavit Terrace where you could dine at as well with the exact same menu, a little more casual dining experience. So this dining room is used for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So there's no assigned seats. You just come in, they seat you. If you don't have that big of a party, you will most likely be seated with other people. If that's not your jam, then you can eat upstairs in the Aquavit Terrace. There are smaller tables up there. So last night we had this awesome German themed meal. It was so cute. If you saw my pictures and everything from last night, you saw like the pretzels and the sausages on the table, and then they had all the kind of like you would see at an Oktoberfest items available for the entrees. It was a lot of fun. And they had the the German band playing as well. So it was a lively dinner. Tonight is the captain's dinner, so it'll be a little bit more dressy. And like I said, things are pretty kind of consistent. You know what to expect on a river cruise. Every evening you're going to do your port talk. You're going to meet for cocktails in the lounge. You're going to do the port talk, and then after that, and after the chef comes in and talks about dinner, then you're going to do everybody goes to dinner. And so everybody pretty much goes to dinner at the same time. You don't have to go right away. If you want to wait a little while, you can. And then there's entertainment in the evening, like I was mentioning too, where they have the house band or the house duo, and then they also have local entertainment that's brought in. So what do you guys all think about this decor? It's really pretty, isn't it? I really like it. So also I mentioned there are rooms on this floor as well. So you have the 3 indoor floors and then the sky deck. There is one floor below this. There are rooms on that floor as well, but like I said, we call those the swan view. They're basically, the windows are on the upper part of the wall, and you look out and you're kind of at the river level. So that's why I call it swan view. The other rooms, though, all either on the 2nd and 3rd floor have a French balcony or the full walkout veranda balcony. So I think I pretty much covered everything I wanted to cover. I just wanted to give you guys a good, look at the Viking product. Like I said, the Viking ships, all the longboats are all the same pretty much. So now that you've seen this one, you pretty much know what they look like and the feel for them. So please stay tuned as I highlight some of the other ships. I am going to be staying on AMA Waterways during the expo, the convention I'm going to, for 4 nights. And then I'll be transitioning to Avalon Waterways, one of the other brands, for a 7-night sailing, also on the Danube. So that'll be after that. So lots of river cruise content. Stay tuned. And if you have any questions, please let me know. You can drop them here, shoot me an email, and just let me know what questions you have. Like I said, there are, 10, really major brands out there. Most of you probably do know Viking because Viking does advertise the most, of course. They market and advertise, but there are other brands as well. So we can always talk about what is most important to you, and I can help pick out and recommend the best line and itinerary for you. All right, thanks guys. Thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned for a lot more river cruise content.